I can't figure the Eagles out. I mean, they go from getting to the Super Bowl, playing valiantly and losing, to then getting a fast start the subsequent season and really hitting some rough road.
Yeah.
Now they win the Super Bowl, and it's almost like that's repeating itself. They got a good start. I mean, realistically, they're 4-2.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's something
Feels
unsettling
like the sky, it feels
about
like
this.
The sky is falling. That's what it feels like.
And I mean, always to a degree. I mean, you got to put context. Whenever you have a Super Bowl, a championship level team, even just a perennial good team drop a couple games, there is a degree of panic that sets in. We've seen this before. That alone is not new, but it's how the Eagles kind of manage that. And I don't like Sirianni. I'm not a Sirianni guy. I think he's a front runner. I don't think he's a crisis coach. And I said that a couple years ago when they had their first round of trouble. And I'd see there's weakness there. And Jalen Hurts is a particular type of guy.
Yeah.
Like he's almost like stoic.
Yeah.
And I don't know that he's the best guy for crisis situations either.
Now when you look at this their division, NFC East, it does get interesting. Because you have the Eagles with this. Who knows what's going on with the Eagles? You got a lot of stuff going on with the Eagles. The Cowboys, we kind of believe in the offense, but the defense is the worst in the league, literally. And then whatever you can make of the Giants with this interesting rookie quarterback.
Here's what I make of the Giants. I'm watching that game the other day.
Yeah.
And they're winning. And they're cutting to the sideline, and dudes are like
the energy
happy as hell. And then it was
crazy.
At one point I had to because I didn't I wasn't sure, but I double looked at the screen and it's Eagles 4-1, Giants 1-4. I'm like, this is the happiest 1-4 football team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's early. But they have an energy,
yeah,
and they've kind of already lost some games, and that energy is almost building.
Yeah.
It's bizarre what's going on.
Good
in New
vibes
York.
team over there.
Yeah, and I trust the good vibes teams.
Yeah,
I'm a big believer in good vibes teams.
Yeah,
you know, and they've got it going. You kind of wash away Russ and bring in Jackson and Scadabo's doing his thing, and it's just the team is lively, and Jameis is hyping everybody. But Brian Dable, you are an unforgivable cocksucker for putting Russ in that game when Jackson Dart went out.
Because what's the point of putting Russ in there for a play or two?
I hope somebody puts shit on your front doorstep for Halloween. You deserve nothing, my friend. That was just such a low class move.
Yeah,
I
think he's just dropped the ball on that. I think
that's a low class move.
It's
just stupid. You've benched Russ for performance. Jackson goes down. It didn't. It's obviously some concern.
Yeah, but you knew it wasn't like a fucking.
Yeah, it wasn't a horrific knee.
Yeah,
it wasn't Tyreek Hill getting carted off.
Yeah, you knew that.
So it's we'll see what's up. I mean, give Jameis a run out, man. Yeah. That was terrible.
Because also it's you do see that. You see every time, they score or whatever, Jameis is going up to the guys. He's always so excited for Dart. Anything Dart does. And it's funny because, Russ is Russ anyway. He's just a different type of person.
Right.
But I don't know. I kind of just want to reward Jameis.
That's exactly where I'm going with it.
You know what I mean?
You get a guy who basically signs with you to be the backup. You draft a quarterback you really love, and he has just done nothing but hype people up.
Yeah.
Been a good human being.
He's a vast part of that big good vibes team.
Right.
He's a large part of that.
And you don't reward that.
Yeah.
You are an asshole.
Yeah.
That's really bottom shelf nonsense from him.
How much of the Eagles' struggle this year is going against my Jalen is a good quarterback take?
I think things went south right when you said it. I can't figure the Eagles out. I mean, they go from getting to the Super Bowl, playing valiantly and losing, to then getting a fast start the subsequent season and really hitting some rough road.
Yeah.
Now they win the Super Bowl, and it's almost like that's repeating itself. They got a good start. I mean, realistically, they're 4-2.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's something
Feels
unsettling
like feels
about
like
this.
the sky is falling. That's what it feels like.
And I mean, always to a degree. I mean, you got to put context. Whenever you have a Super Bowl, a championship level team, even just a perennial good team drop a couple games, there is a degree of panic that sets in. We've seen this before. That alone is not new, but it's how the Eagles kind of manage that. And I don't like Sirianni. I'm not a Sirianni guy. I think he's a front runner. I don't think he's a crisis coach. And I said that a couple years ago when they had their first round of trouble. And I'd see there's weakness there. And Jalen Hurts is a particular type of guy.
Yeah.
Like he's almost like stoic.
Yeah.
And I don't know that he's the best guy for crisis situations either. I don't think he's the guy that's gonna sort it out in the locker room or have a players only meeting that is gonna really kind of cut to some shit and have people do something after that. I just don't think he's that guy. I think he's a little bit aloof. I think people respect his work ethic and his commitment and focus, but I just don't think he has a strong personality outside of his actions. And when the actions aren't enough, there's not much behind that. And that doesn't mean he's a terrible quarterback or any of that. It's just that he has a certain weakness and vulnerability, and I think his coach shares the same thing. And we got to see. I mean, they're still a very talented team. They're 4-2. They're not losing. They're not 2-4. But they're in a crisis situation. It's how do they get out of this? Do they have the mental tools to do that? And I based on 2 years ago, this could be really problematic.
I really love that take. Yeah, I don't know. It's extremely fair. I don't know. I don't have too much to add or differentiate. Now, we're gonna come back to the Eagles on a slightly different perspective. So I'll save that for that. But I do love that take because there is some some lead singer type thing from Jalen. Not necessarily lead. Yeah, I don't know how much of a great leader he is. More so, it's just he's a great voice. Like he's just a singer with a great voice, and and if he got the best drummers around, if everybody else can do their job and they're coming and they perform that day, then it's going to be one of the greatest performances of all time that you see. But if the drummer is a little wasted from last night, if the if the guitar guy is, is
keep up with it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if Jalen knows how to get those guys together. You know what I mean? Those guys have to, if they come to work, everybody comes to work. Jalen's voice is going to stand out. But yeah, so I do like what you said there. But okay, and then that's because I wanted to give the NFC East division as a whole. The Cowboys, that's the last team in that division. Now, again, the worst defense in the league, but Dak is playing really well, and even without CD, even our guy George, who neither one of us kind of
he's done some good stuff.
He's done some good stuff.
Yeah, but I think I see him missing the playoffs unless something dramatic turns with the defense. You can't have that big of vulnerability and to me grind out a good enough record to make the playoffs.
Yeah. What's funny about NFL?
It could be basically like the Bengals last year.
Yeah.
Bengals last year were explosive, really good offensively, really bad defensively, and at the end of the day, they're not a playoff team.
Yeah, and that's the comparison there. That's a great comparison because what I was going to say was another team in that team in the AFC North Division is the Baltimore Ravens. Last year, their defense started out really bad, and they turned it around to become a top 10 defense. You really don't see that. That's not like that's rare.
I mean, if you have some,
unless you make some,
if
trades
you
and
either
acquisitions.
make some moves,
Yeah.
or if you perhaps had to start the season unhealthy,
Yeah.
and then you get some important pieces back,
Right.
and maybe you can kind of tighten things up.
And neither of that is going to be the case for Dallas.
Yeah, it doesn't seem so. I
you know
mean,
what I mean?
maybe the trade piece would be the only.
Maybe the
if
trade
they do
piece.
something with that.
Yeah. But other than that, I can't see them making the playoffs with that. The worst defense in the NFL. You got a guy, and they've made their rounds about this in the national media. But Rico Dowdle, I mean, he told you what he was going to do before the game. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then comes out and have the game of his life. That's nuts.
Yeah, that is great.
But yeah. So I'm with you on that. Now,